The day my sister sold the lodge, she did not call me. I found out from a photograph a neighbor sent, a listing photo. Our grandmother's lake house shot from a drone with a red sail banner laid across the corner like a wound. My name is Nora. The woman selling the lodge was my younger sister, Claire. And this is the story of how I let her list it, show it, and sign a contract for more money than our family had ever seen, before she found out she had spent the whole spring negotiating the exact price that would let me buy the entire place out from under her. You have to understand what the lodge was. Wren Lake, 3 floors of cedar and river stone on the last private point on the water, built by hand in 1969 by my grandmother Vivian and the man she loved, and for as long as anyone in my family had been alive, it was the place we all came back to. Weddings on the lower lawn, coffins carried down the same stairs a week later, christenings, arguments, first swims, last summers. Vivian did not think of it as property. She thought of it as a room the whole family shared that happened to sit on a lake. And she was terrified of exactly one thing, that one day someone who carried her name would be clever enough and cold enough to sell it. She used to keep me out on the dock after everyone else went to bed, and she talked while the loons called. "This place is not for selling, Nora," she told me, more than once. "It is for coming back to... Money will knock on this door someday with a very kind face. When it does, you remember what this is." I was 7. I thought it was just the kind of thing grandmothers say to make a bedtime feel important. I had no idea she meant it as an instruction, or that she had already driven to a lawyer in the county seat in 1971 and turned it into something with teeth. Because, in 1971, when Vivian moved the lodge out of her own name and into a family trust so it could pass down without a fight, she did something almost nobody in the family ever understood, and most of them never knew existed. She did not simply hand the trust the land. She recorded a separate agreement against the title, a right, in plain hard language that would ride with the property forever. If the lodge was ever going to be sold to anyone outside the family, it first had to be offered, in writing, to the living descendants at a price she fixed herself and froze. The lawyers have a cold little name for it, a right of first refusal. Vivian had a warmer one. She said it just meant that anyone who ever tried to sell the place had to offer it home first, and the price she froze was not the market. With the number the land had cost the family to hold, the original stake plus what they had put into the walls carried forward. On paper, 50 years later, it came to a little over $90,000. A market broker would tell you the point at Wren Lake was worth 30, 40 times that. Vivian knew that. That was the entire idea. She was not trying to make it cheap. She was trying to make it impossible to justify selling, because the only person who could ever buy it at that number was family, and family was never supposed to want to. My sister Claire was the one people trusted. I was the one who showed up. I drove out to the lodge every spring to open the shutters and every fall to drain the pipes. I knew which stair creaked and which window swelled in the rain and where Vivian had scratched our heights into the pantry doorframe. Claire lived 3 states away and sent her regrets and her opinions. But Claire was warm in a way that filled a room, and when our mother's health failed, it was Claire who flew in. Claire who sat at every bedside, and Claire who our exhausted mother named as trustee of the family trust in a document I did not see until it was signed. Just like that, the sister who could not remember which key opened the boathouse held the legal power to decide what happened to all of it. I want to be fair to her. I do not think Claire woke up one morning planning to betray anyone. I think a resort group knocked on the door with a very kind face and a very large number, and Claire, who had always measured her life against rooms she could not yet afford, did the math and decided that a lake she visited twice a decade was worth more as a check than as a memory. She told herself she was being practical. She told herself I would understand. And she told herself, I am sure, that the property was hers to sell, because she held the trust and she had never once read the old agreement recorded underneath it. She listed it in April. She did not tell me. She staged it with rented furniture and photographed it with a drone and priced the point at Wren Lake at $3.6 million, and the resort group that had knocked first came back and offered close to it. Through all of it, not one letter came to me, no notice, no offer. Nothing in writing, which is a phrase that is going to matter more than Claire could possibly have known, because the agreement Vivian recorded did not politely ask for a family offer. It required one, in writing, with 30 days to answer before any outside sale could close. Claire skipped that line the way you skip the fine print on a form you are sure you understand. But here's the part I need you to hold on to for the next few minutes. The clause did not disappear when she ignored it. It just waited. The neighbor's photograph reached me on a Tuesday. I sat at my kitchen table and looked at my grandmother's house with a red banner across it, and I felt the specific cold that comes when someone you love does a thing you cannot undo. And then, because I am the one who reads the boring papers, I did the only thing I know how to do. I drove to the county records office the next morning, and I asked for everything ever recorded against the land at Wren Lake. It took the clerk 20 minutes to bring the book. It took me about 90 seconds to find the line my grandmother left there in 1971, still sitting in the chain of title exactly where she put it, quietly, patiently waiting for the day someone tried to sell the place without offering it home first. Now, a right of first refusal is only as strong as the people who honor it, and a lot of them die quietly in a drawer because no one ever enforces them. So, when I found ours, I did not celebrate. I made copies, and I drove them to the one person Vivian trusted enough to name in the margin, the granddaughter of the lawyer who wrote it, who now ran the same small firm on the same square. She read it twice. Then she asked me one question. She asked me the date Claire's sale was set to close. And when I told her, she went very still, and she said the thing that turned the whole spring around. The sale had not closed yet. It was scheduled for the end of the month, which meant the clause was not a wound to grieve. It was a live wire, still hot, and we were holding it in time. Because a recorded right of first refusal does not just give the family a chance to match an outside buyer. Ours, the way Vivian wrote it, did two things at once. It made any sale that skipped the family notice voidable, meaning the resort group's contract could be unwound like it never happened. And it gave the living descendant the right to step in and buy the property herself, on the family terms, at the price frozen in 1971. Claire had spent 5 months and a small fortune in broker fees proving to the world, in writing, that the point at Wren Lake was truly for sale. And the law does not care who you meant to sell it to. The moment she signed a contract to sell it outside the family, she rang a bell she could not unring, and the only person allowed to answer it first was me. So I did not call Claire either. I am not proud of that part, but I had watched her choose silence over her own sister, and I had learned the lesson she taught me. Instead, on a gray morning, 11 days before the closing, my lawyer sent 3 certified letters. One to Claire, as trustee, one to the resort group's counsel, and one to the title company handling the sale. Each one carried a copy of a 1971 recording and a single, calm paragraph. The family's right of first refusal had been triggered. No written offer had ever been made to the descendants as required. The undersigned living descendant was exercising her right to purchase Wren Lake herself on the recorded terms. And until the family right was satisfied, no outside sale could lawfully close. Then I drove out to the lodge, let myself in with the key I had always kept, built a fire in the cold stone hearth for the first time in a year, and I waited. The title company stopped the closing within a day. They had to. A recorded right in the chain of title is not a feeling or a family grievance. It is a defect on the property that no honest insurer will write over. The resort group's lawyers, who were paid to be thorough and had not been, read the 1971 line and then read it again, and then advised their client to walk, because a buyer who closes over a live right of first refusal can have the whole sale unwound out from under him after he has poured concrete. By the end of the week, the offer that had felt so certain in April was simply gone, and the only live path left to buy Wren Lake ran directly through the clause my grandmother recorded, and through the one person standing on it. Claire called me 11 times that week. I took the 12th. She was not warm anymore. She told me I was jealous, that I had always been jealous, that I was blowing up a life-changing amount of money out of spite for a pile of old cedar I could have visited any time. And when none of that moved me, she got to the real fear underneath it, and she asked me what I actually wanted. I told her the truth. I did not want her check. I wanted exactly what Vivian wrote down. I would buy Wren Lake myself, today, on the family terms, at the price frozen in the deed, $91,000 and change. And there was a long silence on the line while my sister did the arithmetic she had somehow never done and understood, for the first time, what she had actually spent the spring building. Because think about what Claire had done, without ever meaning to. To sell the lodge for $3.6 million, she had to prove it was genuinely for sale. She had to sign a real contract, at a real price, with a real outside buyer. And the instant she did, the recorded clause converted all of that work into a key and handed it to me. Every dollar she negotiated up only made the gap wider between what the world would pay and what the family was owed the chance to pay. She had not sold the lodge. She had rung the bell that let me buy it for a little over $90,000 from a family trust she no longer had the power to protect it with. My grandmother had not been trying to make the lodge cheap. She had been building a trap that only ever closed on someone trying to sell. The purchase closed 6 weeks later, on the family terms, in my name, held for the family the way Vivian always meant it to be. Claire did not come. She had spent a fortune in broker fees and legal bills to sell a house she walked away from with nothing, because you cannot keep the money from a sale that the law unwinds. I paid $91,000 and some odd cents for the last private point on Wren Lake, and I did not feel like I had won anything. I felt like I had done what the woman on the dock told a 7-year-old to do. When money knocked with a very kind face, someone in the family remembered what the place was. The pantry door still has our height scratched into it. I added the year, And the loons still come back, which is the only thing anyone at Wren Lake was ever really asked to do. So you tell me. Claire says I stole a fortune from her over a technicality, that a sister should have picked up the phone. I say she sold a place that was never hers to sell, and the only line she had to read was the one that told her to offer it home first. Guilty or not guilty? The verdict is yours, in the comments. And if you think Claire took this quietly, wait until you hear what she did with the one thing I forgot to check, the boathouse at the far end of the point, which was never in the trust at all. That is the next tape. This has been the Vendetta Tapes.